to serve and protect. It's the core promise of the social contract. We assume that if a violent criminal breaks into our home, the police have a legal obligation to try and save you. When they sued for negligence, the court dismissed the case, ruling that no specific legal duty exists to provide protection to any particular citizen. The United States Supreme Court has repeatedly affirmed this stance. In cases like Descheny v. Winnebago and Town of Castle Rock v. Gonzalez, the court ruled the 14th Amendment does not require the state to intervene to protect citizens from private violence. In the eyes of the court, even a mandatory restraining order is not a guaranteed shield. The law is structured to insulate law enforcement from accountability to specific victims. It treats individual protection as a marketed ideal, rather than an enforceable constitutional right. The United Kingdom uses a parallel legal architecture to reach the same outcome. English common law relies on the doctrine of pure omissions, the principle that a public authority generally cannot be held liable for failing to take positive action to prevent violence inflicted by a third party. The landmark case Hill v. Chief Constable established a broad immunity for police forces. The House of Lords argued that holding police liable for investigative failures would lead to defensive policing, diverting state resources away from general duties to avoid potential lawsuits. Other emergency responders face much higher standards. If an ambulance service accepts a 999 call, they owe a legally recognized duty of care to arrive promptly. The police remain the exception. If the highest courts in the US and the UK explicitly state that police have no mandate to protect individuals from harm, what are they actually engineered to protect? This absolute refusal to mandate individual protection forces us to look beyond the public safety narrative. To find the institution's true mandate, we have to look at its history. In the late 18th century, the River Thames was the center of global commerce and a massive logistical bottleneck. Thousands of ships sat anchored for weeks, waiting to unload cargo at congested, chaotic docks. A powerful syndicate of plantation owners and sugar merchants, known as the West India Committee, was losing £500,000 a year to dockside theft. They needed a physical apparatus to protect their capital. In 1798, they privately funded the Marine Police Institution. They hired Patrick Colquhoun to build a heavily armed force specifically to safeguard their goods. Colquhoun's force targeted the customary perks of laborers, the small amounts of spilled sugar and rum workers took to supplement their survival. The Marine Police deployed officers armed with cutlasses and blunderbusses to enforce strict dress codes, banning the baggy clothing used to conceal these goods. The laborers resisted. In 1798, a mob of dock workers besieged the police office with stones after a coal heaver was fined for taking cargo. The officers fired into the crowd, and a labor manager employed by the police was shot dead, becoming the first officer killed in the line of duty. This model was so effective at stopping cargo loss that the British government absorbed the force into the state apparatus in 1800. The Thames River Police established the template for policing as a corporate militia, prioritizing the security of private capital over the lives of the laborers moving it. As the global economy industrialized, the police focus shifted from managing colonial cargo on the docks to managing the urban working class in the factories. During periods of economic distress, the state continuously deployed police forces to neutralize strikes. Their objective was to protect corporate assets and maintain the logistical flow of capital whenever labor movements threatened it. During the 1984 UK miners' strike, the state organized massive police deployments to break union blockades. At the Battle of Orgreave, miners were corralled by riot police and subjected to premeditated physical violence. The government used the police as a physical wedge. By clearing paths for corporate supply trucks and arresting picketers, the state dismantled union power and cleared the path for widespread industrial privatization. When the enforcers themselves attempted to strike, the state's response was swift. In 1918, thousands of London police officers marched for better pay. Fearing the loss of its coercive arm, the government offered a pay deal while simultaneously passing laws to ban police unions forever. The pattern is consistent. Whenever the working class organizes to challenge the economic status quo, the state relies on the police to neutralize the threat and preserve corporate interests. Max Weber defined the modern state by its monopoly on violence. To function, it requires the exclusive right to deploy physical force within its borders. Critical criminology views the justice system not as a neutral arbiter, but as an architecture engineered to protect ruling class power. A direct line connects the 1798 River Police guarding corporate cargo to modern courts absolving police of protecting individual lives. Institutional power is directed toward maintaining the economy, while individual protection is a secondary concern. The institution functions according to its historical design, prioritizing macroeconomic stability over the safety of the individual citizen. The expectation that the police serve as personal protectors is a romanticized fantasy. We can only have honest conversations about public safety once we confront the reality of police as an apparatus of state power and corporate preservation.